Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 2 In-Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the AN-94 assault rifle. This is my personal favorite assault rifle, but that's not why we're doing it first. We're doing it first because I'm going to do assault rifles in reverse order. A lot of other commentators have already reviewed the first several, so I'm going to start at the very end and work backwards, and that just kind of starts with the AN-94. The first thing that you want to know about the AN-94 is how much damage does it do. It deals 40 damage in close quarters combat, but drops off to 24 damage at a distance. This means it will kill enemies in between 3 and 5 shots, just kind of depending on how far away you are. The headshot multiplier on this weapon is 1.2x. On a lot of other weapons, I said the headshot multiplier wasn't particularly significant, and on the AN-94 that seemed to be the case, and that 1.2x times 40 doesn't get me a 2-shot kill. However, this weapon deals 33 damage at medium range for a very long distance. Since we now have discrete ranges instead of linear ones, it's a 4-shot kill range throughout that whole medium range. However, if you get a headshot with 33 damage, that bumps it up to a 3-shot kill instead of a 4, so I find that going for headshots with this weapon is very beneficial. It's also fairly accurate and not particularly hard to do. The 3-shot kill range on this weapon, which I would say is its optimal range, is 29 meters. This is low to medium for assault rifles. I was going to call it medium, but then I looked at it and I realized that if this is medium, this is the very bottom end of the medium of the pack. It's not particularly low range for assault rifles, but I wouldn't quite call it medium. The 4-shot kill range is very average, and the 5-shot kill range also very average, but your 3-shot kill potential is somewhat limited. The rate of fire on this weapon I discussed in the previous in-depth episode, so I'm not going to do it in quite as much detail, but I will cover it. This weapon has 2 different distinct firing modes. In normal mode, that's even without select fire, the first 2 shots that you fire shoot at 900 RPM, and then all the shots following those are 600 RPM. And I say this in that the next shots are the ones after you've held your trigger down or held your mouse button down. If you release the mouse button and press again, the next 2 shots will fire at 900 RPM. So if you tap your trigger, it constantly fires at 900 RPM. If you pull the trigger and hold it down, it fires at 600 RPM, which is a lower rate of fire. It has 2 different recoil patterns for both of these rates of fire. The recoil on the first 2 shots is very low. I was going to say no recoil, but I've done some testing and it does have some recoil. It's just rather low. The recoil on the next shots that fire at 600 RPM are considerably higher. I would say they are of moderate recoil. They kick a little bit harder than what I would like, but they are very predictable. They more or less just kick straight up like an AK weapon. Since this is technically an AK variant, this is going to be the AK-47 as far as Black Ops 2 is concerned. It has moderate recoil, but it is controllable. If you put select fire on this weapon, it puts it into a 2-shot burst only mode of 900 RPM, so it's essentially the same except for the fact that you don't have the option to hold down the trigger to spray at 600 RPM. I don't necessarily like select fire. I prefer to run it just normally and let my finger be the select fire, but some people do like it this way because it allows them to spam the 2 shots much easier. The time to kill on this weapon is somewhere between medium and fast. If you're just holding down the trigger and spraying and going for those 3-shot kills with your 3rd shot firing at 600 RPM, it's a medium time to kill weapon. However, if you tap the trigger a lot, you can theoretically shoot faster depending on how good your timing and your trigger finger is, and it can be a fast time to kill weapon competitive with maybe something like the SWAT 5.56. When it comes to longer range engagements, it's the same story. If you hold down the trigger, it's more of a medium to slow killing weapon, but if you tap and go for those burst fire shots, it can kill very quickly. I found the iron sights on this weapon to be very clean and usable. The foresight is unfortunately a full circle, and the top bar blocks my vision a little bit, but it's mostly very open, very clean. Hindsights are pretty far apart, so they don't obstruct anything. I found that it's very usable for close range, medium range. Long range is a little bit trickier because that top bar has a tendency to block my vision or distract me a little bit, and I found that it needed sights for long range. Maybe if you're a little bit better than me with the iron sights, you can use it at long range, but I found the iron sights overall quite good. I have no problems with the iron sights. I just kind of like sights on this weapon, or additional optics, a little bit better than the irons. My subjective feel on the reload time turned out to be quite wrong. When I was typing all this up, I punched in that it would be a very fast reloading weapon, but when I checked the stats, I found that the stats indicate that it's actually a closer to average reloading weapon. The reload time, or the time at which it takes to go through the full animation, is 2.39 seconds, and the cancel time is the time it takes for you to fully add the bullets into the magazine as far as the, or into the chamber as far as the game is concerned, and then you can cancel by sprinting or double tapping your YY or whatever it is method that you choose, is 1.32 seconds. I reload cancel all the time on this weapon. In some of the gameplay, you may have seen me sprint as soon as the magazine makes contact with the chamber. That's because I'm trying to time the reload cancel and get it to reloading faster. Because of this reason, I found that it's not really necessary to run fast mags on this weapon. Fast mags are nice and they help, but I personally am very comfortable with just reload canceling it. The knife speed is fairly standard for assault rifles at 1.2 seconds, and the run speed has the standard assault rifle run speed of 95%. These are not as fast as pistols, SMGs, shotguns, that kind of thing, but they're not particularly slow. You can run at 95% of your normal speed. Because of this, I have a tendency to prefer lightweight, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. The raise and drop time on the AN-94 is very standard for the assault rifle class at 0.7 seconds and about a third of a second to put away. The aim down sights in and out time are both equal to each other at a quarter of a second each. This is standard across all assault rifles as far as I'm aware, and it's not particularly different than that of submachine guns. The hipfire on this weapon is unfortunately quite poor. Numerically, statistically speaking, it has the same hipfire box and hipfire spread as pretty much all the rest of the assault rifles, but my practice is because it shoots so slowly at 900 RPM and because it's designed to be more of a precision weapon and less of a spray weapon, that when I do try to hipfire with it, my results are often disastrous, so I would highly recommend against hipfiring with this weapon. The AN-94 boasts a standard magazine size of 30, and when you put extended mags on it, it goes up to 40, nothing particularly special or fancy about that. When it comes to classifying this weapon, I'm going to say that it is a high potential weapon. This is a weapon that is very accurate over long ranges, it reloads relatively quickly, good iron sights, it shoots quickly, it can kill people quickly, but it's difficult to master. It's difficult to master because the iron sights are a wee bit tricky, but mostly because of the varied rate of fire. You're going to find yourself thinking, should I tap or should I spray, or did I tap fast enough, did I tap too slow, etc., etc. There's a lot of extra brain work that goes into working the AN-94. The best way to use this weapon is always to just tap that trigger and make it shoot at 900 RPM constantly. However, in some situations, it may actually be better to spray. I found myself more comfortable spraying in some situations when multiple targets were lined up or when they were closer and I was more desperate. So you have to do that brain work too, deciding if you're going to tap or if you're going to spray. And because of this, it is a difficult weapon to master. It's just not particularly easy to use, but if you learn how to use it, I'm very confident that you will enjoy using it. I've got two different recommended classes for this weapon. The first class I'm going to recommend is the one that I use all the time. I feel that it's best with a quick draw handle and variable zoom, actually. Variable zoom is much cleaner and easier to use in Black Ops 2 than it was in Modern Warfare 3, and since I play on Xbox, all I have to do is click the left stick to change my sights even while I'm using it, so I can swap back and forth between using this as a close range weapon or a medium to long range accuracy rifle very, very quickly, and I really don't have any problems with the hybrid sight. It was pretty atrocious in Modern Warfare 3, very usable here. Along with this, I recommend running lightweight and hardline with perk 1 greed. Hardline so you get your kill streaks faster, lightweight so you run a little bit faster. My second perk is toughness because it really will mess up your long range sight if you get shot and you're flinching and shaking around on the holographic sight. Holographic hybrid sight, very, very bad idea. And lastly, dexterity. I run dexterity on just about every class because I sprint a lot, I play very aggressively, especially with this weapon, and I like to recover very, very quickly to attack people. The next class I'm going to recommend is similar in some respects. It also has the quick draw handle because I do like recovering very quickly, and it also has the dexterity because I like to recover to aims down sights very quickly, but this is where it differs. Instead of running toughness, I'm going to recommend cold-blooded so that when people look down sights at you, you don't get that annoying red name tag, and they might not be sure what team you're on. You're also going to want to run ghost, silencer, and lightweight. That's going to be perk 1 greed, so you have lightweight, so you're still running faster than everybody else. You have ghost, so that when you play aggressively you're not on the radar, silencer so that you're not on the radar, and a quick draw handle so that you can aim down sights very quickly. If you use this class, this is a stealthy and very aggressive assault rifle class. A lot of people might recommend some sort of a dead silence or whatever the quiet footsteps perk is. I forgot that I don't use that's because sound whoring is broken and it doesn't really make much difference. This is also a class that I run very frequently. Don't be a camper with it. Ghost doesn't work if you're sitting still. Just play aggressively and enjoy yourself. Well guys, that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you'd like to check out my previous episode, which was on the Scorpion, you can click the box on the left, and if you'd like to check out my next episode, which is going to be on the M8A1, you can click the box on the right whenever that's available. As always, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.